Hey everyone, it's Sabrina. I am super excited to start on May Project Life for 2024. I love starting with an intro page, and this time I had two fantastic photos that really captured May, which was going on adventures and stepping outside our comfort zones. I went on a solo plane ride for the first time in 14 years to see my dear friend Erica in Washington, and my daughter went on her 5th grade overnight trip. So I figured, why not start May with those two photos? And I dug through my digital stash, and I loved the colors for the May Stories by the Month kit, I think from 2023. So that's what I used along with this transparency. I decided to bring back transparencies. I think I used them in 2023, but for the second half of 2024, I figured, why not? Let's bring them back. So I grabbed the beautiful floral transparency, added a giant 5 on it, and now I can start on my May introduction page. It's very simple, 2 photos, and I made my daughter's black and white since it had a lot of red in it. And any chance I can focus on green, I am going to focus on green. So what I did is I planned it out digitally in Photoshop, and I loved the greens, like the olive green, and then the yellow. I don't know what the yellow is, but it was a really cool color combination. So I went with those and then just staggered it, and I did die cut the 2 sayings, documenting today and you make me so happy. And then I decided to go with the chipboard pieces that I had in my stash. And that works perfect because now I can take the die cuts that I made and use them for my journal. You just saw me trying to figure out a border down at the bottom. I had the gold, kind of rose gold card from May Stories. I cut it apart. I thought I might use it, but I really didn't like it. And so I decided, how about I just go with my old trick of putting down washi, and then I can stamp a small border down at the bottom, because I really wanted to find a way to indicate that this was May. I had a digital stamp that said memories, and so I printed it super big on clear sticker paper, and it looks fantastic. And then I have that washi tape, and I will go ahead and stamp out May Stories. Before I do that, I'm putting together the pieces that I have. I printed out the labels, die cut them with my Cameo, because I think in the actual physical kit, they are transparent or acetate type labels. And to me, those are hard to write on, and they might have like a glossy sheen to them. So I'd rather use these die cut ones. So I have the photo of my friend up top, and then I'll put the green pieces to the right of us, and then my daughter's photo, I kind of staggered it, and some of the negative space where there was like signs on the wall of like, I think it was like who's in whose car, I covered that up. That worked great to cover that up. And again, making it black and white, great choice, because like I said, lots of red. I think I shared how I put this project together for my daughter, because I did do a page for my daughter about her big adventure for 5th grade camp, because 4th grade she had a terrible time, and she wasn't sure if she was going to do a 5th grade, but she did, and she had an amazing time. Okay, so for the May stories, down at the bottom, I grabbed my May 6x8 sheet and then just stamped out May Stories, which I think worked out so much better because I just have such a hard time using gold or rose gold. So just for me, rose gold, any of those are really hard to use, and I'd love to know in the comment section, are those hard for you to use when you are scrapbooking or documenting, or even when you're journaling? Because I don't even use gold when I'm journaling. But that is the start of May, and then I flipped it over, and I know this might sound silly, but I was trying to see if I could put the page, I didn't have to use a second sheet of paper. I could just put the next project right on the back of it. And I also want to apologize because I guess because these photos have a ton of red in them, they really messed with my lighting. So hopefully the project and this video doesn't look too yellow. It seems like it's okay, but I was just like, wow, there's a difference between this video and my first project video. You can see here, I flipped it over and you can see that the other project is right there, right on the back. So I was just trying to save paper and an experiment of, will it work? I sometimes do that, but not often. So that's why I just wanted to do it now. I always notice how, and I wonder if you guys notice this too, but when I have an extra piece of the paper, in order to make it a concise pattern, I have to take the second piece of the paper and kind of lift it up, which is what I did on the Go team. And then I just have to slice off what is left over at the top, if that makes sense. So it's always interesting how, yes, you can line up Ali Edwards pattern papers, but you just have to kind of stagger it a little bit and cut off the extra so that way it's one straight line. This whole entire page is about my people loving going to Sac Republic games. And my son loves taking selfies with various players. So I took those photos and decided to include them in Project Life. I have several, page ideas, as always, of, my son and getting all these selfies together and eventually getting it in his album. But since that seems to be harder, I decided to go ahead and do it in this format. And also the photo of my son, my husband, and my mother-in-law is absolutely priceless. I mean, just the fact that when I text them, I text them, how's the game going? And then I text them, don't forget pictures. They don't ignore me. They send me these fantastic, priceless selfies, and it melts my heart. So I had to include it in Project Life. And I was able to finally use the fan story kit. So I have that 4x6 card that I'm going to journal on, and my son even helps me with the journaling. I'll also use an acetate banner that says love this, and then just a few black chipboards. I think I picked the ones, my game, love this game, and then #1 fan on the main photo of them. And then when I journaled, I just left some pencil lines and talked about how they absolutely love going to these games. And they average about 3 games a season. And then I called my son over and I asked him to help me identify the players and how to spell them, because there's just no way I would have been able to figure out all the players. Like, I know the goalie is the bottom left photo, and Danny Vitiello. And that's because that's Oma's favorite player, and I think he's a really awesome goalie. So he's probably one of my favorites too, but I needed help with figuring out these guys, and my son was nice enough to help. I just love the fact that not only does this sports team make the effort to have its players come out, but that my son really enjoys getting these selfies, and he's even had, I think, a player sign something that he made, and so it's just really cool. I do need to make a story for my son's album at some point about all of these photos, because it's just the coolest thing, and it makes him so happy. So once I have all the journaling out or done, I can go ahead and erase those pencil lines and get it into the album. And after this is going to be a totally random page about eating out at a not so great restaurant. I also have this 2020 Week in the Life album, and since I'm not doing the project in this 6x8 format, I can go ahead and repurpose the album, which is very exciting since albums can be so expensive. All right, so this is the funny page that I thought may never come to be. I wasn't sure when I was looking through May photos, I wasn't sure if I would include this photo just because we went to a restaurant and it just was not that great. But then I kind of thought about it, and the whole reason we went to the restaurant is because it was just the 3 of us with little sister at camp. So I decided, you know what, that's important. So I'm going to go ahead and go forward with scrapbooking it. I had seen this yellow card in the Stories by the Month kit from last year, and so I wanted to use that, and it's perfect. It says craving this, and it has a really cute yellow border, and I cut the close-up of my food so that way I could put it on the left-hand side, since I really didn't have a lot to say overall. But I still wanted to mention that this was our dinner together while sister was at camp. And that, like I said, that was the best part. It's just the restaurant wasn't so great, so I don't think we've gone back since. I also had a little bit of trouble trying to figure out like what I was going to put on this photo. I felt like I could use something, but I wasn't sure what that something would be. And I was just, I don't know, I was struggling, and you guys saw I pulled out some drawers. I put things back. I am searching and searching. And what I wound up finding is these 2 die cuts, but I think I only wound up using one. Well, actually, I used one die cut that was like an orange banner. You can see I just put it down. It might be a tag or something. And then I also had a little rounded, I don't want to say bubble, but rounded thing. I don't know what you want to call it. It was probably from a journaling card. It says details. And I decided that would be perfect to add a little bit of something to the bottom of the photo. And then I could move the word phrase sticker, "These are the days," up at the top, because there was like a painting that was up in that top corner and it was a little bit distracting. So just having that sticker there worked perfect. So I used the orange die cut and I cut it in half and used it almost as faux washi and added in little details for the close-up of the food. I don't know what I was going to say, but food. And then I added in the little story about going out to dinner, the 3 of us. And I did not include the 0.5 zoom photos that my son took of my husband. I think he took that all of us got 0.5 zoom treatment, but I only saved the one of my husband. But you know, teens and their 0.5 zoom, it's just hilarious. But I decided not to include those and just include the family photo. Okay, the last page for this video is Mother's Day. My husband couldn't get the time off, which was totally fine because he'd been off during the week, which, you know, with kids and multiple activities, it's almost better that he's off during the week, so that way we can tag team who's taking who where. But anyways, he managed to get some awesome stuff delivered to the house, I think with DoorDash or something, and he had my son answer the door, and that's why my son was holding the bouquet of flowers. So I wanted to document the little pieces of my day, including a workout, so that's why I'm in like my workout clothes. And I also got a plant set from my husband and the kids. So I took all of these photos and I'm just going to use the Stories by the Month kit. I love the pink vellum that says, I think it says mommy, mum, and it's just fantastic. I want like a 12 by 12 sheet of it. It's so good. I also used a vellum floral piece to punch out a few shapes, and I punched them out in specific like spots. So the photo of me working out, I punched out a shape with a hummingbird, and I love that. It's so cute. And on the bottom right hand corner, there'll be just a floral. I'll also have a flip down since I wanted to have the journaling card that says Mom Celebrating You, and I wanted to have the pink vellum. So I just decided to go ahead and add a flip down, and then my son's photo can be in the back. And it's just, it made for an overall really wonderful day. And like, I think I mentioned this, but the flip pocket is going to be one of those Simple Stories snap adhesive pockets. So that'll work really nicely. And I also used a little bit of purple with the word phrase stickers, and just a simple page, and I'm totally okay with that. The only thing I like goofed on was I ran out of room to journal on the 3x4 card. So I just made a little journaling spot over with this tag when you flip it down. And I don't know, to me it looked okay. It kind of looked messy. I don't know. But I'm not going to, like I've said before many times on other projects, I'm not going to rip it apart and start over again. I'm just going to call it good, call it close enough for Jess. So I decided to put the adhesive pocket on the right hand side. right hand side, and then up towards the top. And then of course you can see all of the photos that I have for my entire day, because overall it was a great day. Yes, I was with the kids, but my husband still made me feel special and loved by having all that stuff delivered to my house. So I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I would love a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new to my channel. I so appreciate it. Have a great day. Bye.